And we are live talking all things Philadelphia 76ers, Delaware Bluecoats. I'm going to tell you something, man. What a phenomenal win tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay? What a phenomenal win for the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know how you don't get happy over a win like this. Okay? Over a win like this, because this was something that was special. This was something that was special. What's up, everybody? Live, Tony Jigsaw Cutillo, straight off of Sirius, doing the Win Daily Sports Show. I literally got off of Sirius, okay, stopped the show, hopped on the Sixers game, watched the final 9 minutes live, and watched my man Ricky Council go absolutely bonkers. And I am so excited to talk about this. I really am, because if you don't know, you see it on the bottom of the screen. I start working with the Bluecoats in the beginning of the year, doing the podcast, an all new podcast they never had. Okay, something that we wanted to put together. Myself, the man Joe Richmond, and the vice president Alex Yo, and we talked about it. We said, let's get something out there, and we started the Bluecoats beat. And I start going down there to Chase Fieldhouse. I start watching these kids. Okay. I start watching the highlights. I start talking to the players. And I was like, this kid is absolutely driven. Okay. This kid is absolutely driven. And I say that again. I apologize if, I'm hyped. Okay. I'm absolutely hyped. I'm going to put the thing down so now I can actually look into the camera, because I'm usually just doing this as a live audio stream. Okay. Call-in line is open. Comments are open. I know not everybody's sitting in front of a computer tonight. It's Saturday night. Not everybody's doing that. Only idiots like myself that are absolute sports bananas. Okay. But like I said, I just came off the air live, and I'm watching. Number one, you watch Tyrese Maxey just struggle in the first and all of a sudden just come to life in the second half. Okay. You watch these kids, and I say kids because they're kids. Like, let's remember something. Everybody was blasting this team yesterday. Okay. So can I please say this? I don't care if you're watching on YouTube. I don't care if you're watching on Twitter. I don't care if you're watching on Facebook. Okay. But I want all the people yesterday that bombed the Twitter line, okay, and bombed me on Facebook and everywhere and said the Sixers stink. They're not winning anything. Horrible trade by Daryl Morey. It's terrible. Oh, my God, we're going to die without Pat Beverly. Give me a friggin' break, man. Are you serious? Do you guys not watch basketball? Do you guys not watch the game? Obviously, you don't, okay? Obviously, you don't. And that's the problem. Everybody thinks they got a voice. Everybody, which, listen, in all actuality, it is great. I like everybody to have a voice without a microphone. I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't have a microphone, right? I'd have pushed my way through all the politics and all the BS in the friggin' radio industry. Okay, all the people that are in there for themselves, all the people that want to go in for themselves, all the people that think they're great. And guess what? They're boring as hell, but they're on the air because they know somebody. I'm not afraid to say it. It's the truth, but that's okay. Okay, that's okay. But what I'm saying is, all these people have an opinion, and I'm going to call it like it is. It's a very uneducated opinion. Okay. You can come at me what you want. You can say what you want in the comments. It's a very uneducated opinion. And I'm not afraid to call somebody out when they're wrong, but I'm also not afraid to give somebody their flowers when they're right. And I will say this again. I tweeted out, and I know the whole cringy Twitter society. Okay, when you tweet something out because you tweet something out somebody, you actually give them their flowers right away. People are like, oh, look at this guy hopping in his comments. He wants to be on a show. Nah, man, it's all about saying, yo, you're educated. Okay, your analysis was spot on. I did it earlier. I'm not going to say a specific name, okay, but I'll say the stations, and I don't mind. Okay, we had a station in WIP that after the trade deadline, okay, we had a few people, not naming any names, sit there and say they had no idea why they did the trades they did. No idea. I don't get it. Don't make sense of it. What didn't even praise the Buddy Hield move, right? Was like, I don't really know what's going on. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't. Why would they do this? Why would they do that? Very uneducated take. Okay, or it was smart and they're trying to get clicks. Simple as that. But then I flipped, and again, I listen to everything. Okay, and then I flip on the other channel, 97.5, and I will say this name because I tweeted out at him and he was right, and I listened to Tyrone Johnson, which people are going to hate. People are going to give him hate. They don't like him, whatever. Listen, people don't like me either. I could care less, right? I just still go along with my day, okay? But Tyrone had a great take. He did. He said exactly what I thought and more. He said exactly what I thought about Buddy Hield, but I didn't even think about what he was talking about with Cameron Payne, okay? I wasn't even thinking about that. All right, we still all, okay, I'm not even talking about the Jader Springer thing. It is what it is, okay? But they needed, he made a great point. They needed 3-point shooters. They needed guys that were able to shoot the ball behind the arc. And that's what they got in two guys in Buddy Hield and Cam Payne. Listen, everybody bitches and moans about Pat Beverly, but come on, man. At the end of the day, Pat Beverly wasn't getting it done. He wasn't getting it done. Okay, you can like the guy as much as you want, but when you're 25th, in the league in 3-pointers, and your center is the most dominant player of your team, how do you explain that? I can't. That's just a bad system. That's a bad system. And don't you think for a second, right? Don't you think for a second that Nick Nurse, okay, was in collaboration with this and said, hey, Daryl, man, you got to get me some shooters from the outside. That's the only way this thing is going to work. If you don't think that, you're an idiot, okay? Because that's not how it goes. So right away, you start popping off and you start getting on the timeline and start calling it what you want. Man, that's the problem. It's okay to have an opinion, but when you start with these uneducated takes, it gets ridiculous. And it gives me this wasted energy, I got to say, because when it comes out and I watch it, like, I don't know who the one guy was. This one guy was tweeting at me. I guess he wanted to make a name for himself or something, but he kept going back and forth about how I was wrong and how we're not going to win anything. Listen, like I said, this is still a very winnable season. Okay. And I'm glad that we went in, but we went into the fact that we didn't give up all our assets. And I think that was such a big thing. My man Javon checked in. He's like, I wasn't a fan. See, I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to put Javon on the spot. Okay. Me and Javon, real tight on here. We go back a long time. We respect each other's work. Make sure you give him a follow at Javon10. Does a ton of different things, from FTM bets, from sport. He walked away from, obviously, from sporting news, but he does a lot of other things. Has his own little podcasting network, his own stuff that he does. Very, 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 very educated. And the reason why I said it is, look at the comment. Okay. This is when you know you're real. Because I've done this plenty of times. Javon knows this. Some people that follow me know this. I wasn't a fan of the trade at first, but I'm glad to be wrong with what I've seen from Hield and Payne. Because you know why? Javon wants them to win, right? I say that all the time. Like, you really expect, like, I would be that. I'm always the happiest person to eat my words if it means Philadelphia's winning. Something wrong with that. It's a great thing, right? Listen, I'm mad that I was right and everybody said I was wrong. Ben Simmons. Okay, there's a point. I said trade Ben Simmons for PG-13 for Paul George. 3rd year in the league. Everybody said I was nuts. I was like, he ain't it. Right? Okay, I was right. But then on the flip side, I said Doug P would never win a Super Bowl because he's a stiff. I still think he's not a great coach, but he won a Super Bowl. I was happy as hell. Great. Right. So that's the thing. Like, everybody has their own opinions, but when you're able to come up front and be like, hey, I was wrong, but I'm glad I was wrong. That's what it's all about. The problem is, I actually think so many sick and twisted individuals that call themselves a fan. Okay. I think they actually hope that they are right. How can you hope that you're right when you're talking about this kind of trade? Like, I hope I'm right. That Joel will never win a title. I hope I'm right. Like, are you kidding me? Right? No, listen, Joe, my man Joe checking in. I am telling you right now, no. Tobias is not getting an extension. No. But he puts in there so more he can get discounts on more crumble cookies. I love my man Joe, man. I love my man Joe. Always checking in. Always got some good things, man. Always got some good comments. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you how I see this going down with the 76ers in the offseason. I really do. My man Rick hit me up through DM, was talking about it, asking me. I highly think they have a target. Okay? They have a target. I think Buddy Hield is going to re-sign here. I do. I think he's the perfect complement. You don't trade Buddy Hield with his skill set for right now and just have it for now. Buddy Hield was 100% traded to be an integral piece of the system around Joel Embiid, not just for this year, but for the next 2 to 3 years. So I see him signing that kind of deal. Okay. But I also see them going after Paul George. And I think they go all in. And I think Paul George is in line for one more big contract. And I think he gets it here in Philadelphia. And I also think there's going to be whispers of LeBron James. Now, we could say what we want, but, they're gearing up. They're gearing up. And you already saw the contracts breaking down, the contract talks breaking down, okay, with Paul George. So we already see that. Okay. So again, that's a comment here. Okay. This is what happens when you're allowing the air and your son's outside, man, checking in with you. But that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. Joe says, I'll take Hield averaging 20 and be accountable every night long term. Listen, you gotta think about this, Joe. This is the way I look at it with Buddy Hield. He's going to be in so many advantageous situations in this offense for this team, better than he's ever been in his entire career. And you're talking about, I said this the other day on the show, and you heard it, and it still amazes me, okay, that this guy is only him and Steph Curry. More than, averaging 253s attempted in the last 5 years, or made in the last 5 seasons. I mean, that's Hall of Fame territory. Now, yeah, Buddy Hield's at a Hall of Famer, but remember something. Remember all those top notch, right? 3-point players like Robert Horry, like Ray Allen. Like I'm gonna equate the Buddy Hield move to the Ray Allen move years ago, when Ray Allen went to Miami. Like, Ray Allen didn't have to be the man, but he was in such an advantageous situation that there were so many other scoring options on that team that he had the ability to shine. Buddy Hield, think about it. Buddy Hield's going to be the 3rd to 4th option on this team, man. Are you serious? The 3rd to 4th option. How can you not get happy about that? Are you out of your mind? Like, that is how you build a team. And please, can we just stop for 1 second? Okay? I need to stop for 1 second. And we need to talk about Ricky Council. We need to talk about Ricky Council. Okay? And I have to do this, man. I got to put the blue coats hat on for a second. And the reason why I have to do it is I talked about it at the trade deadline. The reason why they were willing to part with some of those second-round picks was because they knew what they had in Ricky Council. They knew what they had in Terquavion Smith. More so, Ricky Council. Listen, Turk can shoot. Turk needs to get some muscle on his build, okay? He needs to get some muscle on his build, and he will. But Ricky Council is friggin' special, man. He is friggin' special. If you're listen, I didn't sleep on Ricky Council, okay? I didn't sleep on Ricky Council, and here's where I'm gonna give myself some credit, okay? All you need to do, see, and my man, listen, and I'm gonna put my man on the spot in a good way. My man Mike checking this says, I had no idea we had this cat. You know why? Because you wouldn't know unless somebody talks about him. But you know who talks about him? Me, this guy. You know who talks about him? Javon. Javon Alford talks about him. Okay. And here's the thing. You see on the bottom of the screen, Blue Coach Beat, man. Blue Coach Beat. Go check that podcast out. Wherever you get your podcast from, go download it for me, man. Give me a rating. I'm the host, me and Mr. Joe Richmond, the fantastic ambassador of basketball operations for the Delaware Blue Coats. And from day one, I was on Ricky Council. If you go on to the YouTube page, you can check out my spotlight that I did 2 months ago on Ricky Council. I was excited then, and I'm still excited now. And this is such a huge credit to the Blue Coats organization. And we should just say the Sixers organization as a whole, because they work together, man, right? There's not one without the other. They work together. And the reason why I say it's a tribute and a credit to them is because here is a kid out of Arkansas that got told no. Okay? He got told he had a bad attitude. He got told he couldn't play both sides of the ball. He got told he couldn't shoot the three. He shoot 27% from three-point land. He's told he couldn't create his own shot, couldn't create separation. All the raw talent in the world, but he couldn't put it together. At one time, was projected to be a mid-level first-round pick. You know where he got drafted? He wasn't drafted. But the Sixers picked him up. The Sixers saw something in him, okay? The Sixers saw the raw ability. And here's what's key, okay? And I'm not saying this just because I work for the Blue Coats, okay? But I say this because I understand the culture. They let me in, okay? They let me in. I understand now, and I get it. And what they do is they build these young men up, and they give them a confidence about themselves that they know when their number gets called and they get moved up, that they can ball. And guess what? The smartest move they could have made, okay, is they take their championship coach and Kobe Carl, and they put him on the assistant coaching staff for the Philadelphia 76ers. What better way for a young guy to get confidence when he knows he goes up, he can look around, and there's his coach right there, a product of the Blue Coats. I am telling you right now that this kid we're going to be talking about him like we talk about Tyrese Maxey. Okay? I'm dead serious. Play this shit back. Whatever you want to do, I'm telling you right now, we're going to be talking about this kid like he's Tyrese Maxey. What do we talk about with Tyrese Maxey? What do you think about it? Talked about his energy, his conviction, you know, his willingness to learn, his willingness to understand, and it'll just keep getting better. It'll just keep getting better. Guess what, man? He did. And look at him now. Oh, Ricky Council. I get it. All the people that are going to sit there and be like, oh, well, it's only because they were shorthanded. Come on, man. It's an NBA team he's playing out there in Washington, and it's important minutes in a game they need to win. It's important minutes in a game they need to win. And he was on the floor for the final 9 minutes and 29 seconds. And not only was he on the floor, one of the main friggin' reasons why they won that game. Think about it. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? Mike says, I thought they were supposed to boost Springer. Listen, you can only boost a guy who can be boosted, right? I mean, I like Jaden Springer was their best perimeter defender. Couldn't shoot. No jump shot. No nothing. 2021. I'm not saying he can't develop, but, I think Daryl Morey said it great at the press conference. He looked at a playoff rotation, and he kind of gave you, if you watch the press conference and you read between the lines, you know that Daryl Morey's got a plan this offseason. Okay. And he just told you that he can't see Jaden Springer cracking a playoff rotation in the next 2 to 3 years. So in his mind, now think about this, Mike. Think about this, and I'm being 100% honest. You know me, so think about it. He said that he thought they would have more of a chance to get a second round pick to develop and help before they could get Jaden Springer to do that, a former first round pick. Now, from the uneducated sports fan, okay, that you'll hear on Twitter, will probably go out there and call Morey an idiot and a fraud. And he has no idea what he's talking about, right? But the educated sports fan, you know what they're going to say? Where was Turk drafted? Where was Ricky drafted? Oh, they were undrafted, huh? And lo and behold, they're actually playing. So again, the educated sports fan will say, wow, look at this. That means that Daryl Morey and the organization already think highly of the two guys that were undrafted that are now on the contract and the bench of the 76ers and actually contributing to the team. So again, you got to stop just spurting out things that you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, you really don't. It's getting ridiculous. It really is. Like I love the passion. I love this town's passion, and I love it. But my God, man, I don't know what half these people are thinking. They must not watch the game. They must not have any idea how to dribble a basketball, and they must not have any idea on how a defense is played, how an offensive scheme is constructed, or what. I have no idea. Or maybe they just want to get people riled up, and they want to get clicks, and they want to get followers, and all that stupid stuff, right? But all I know is, it's Saturday night. It's 10:08 Eastern time. Okay. I did a show on Sirius from 7 to 9 where we talked all things Super Bowl. We talked prop bets. We talked DFS. We had a couple great callers, were fantastic. And all I know is I turn on a game on a Saturday night as a sports fan, and I watch the Sixers, and I watch these young kids balling out. I watched Kelly Oubre playing above what Kelly Oubre should do. I'm watching Ricky Council basically finding a will to win. I'm watching Tyrese Maxey just elevating the quickest step to the hole I've ever seen before in my life. I'm telling you right now, it's quicker than AI. I thought AI was quick to the basket. No way. Tyrese Maxey is the fastest first step I've ever seen in the NBA. I'm serious. I've never seen somebody faster. And that's what I mean. Off the dribble, right to the hole. I've never seen anybody finish faster. I've never seen anybody's first step faster. That's how good he is. And again, if you have a guy that can create his own shot in Tyrese Maxey, and if you have a 7'2" guy who's shooting a 15 to 20 automatic jump shot and can box or back anybody down they want, why would you want guys outside like Pat Beverly who can't shoot a three? Why? It's think about it. Why? No, you need to have a huge 3-point presence. And their best 3-point shooter was Tyrese Maxey. Well, you just proved your point in the wrong aspect right there. So that means you can't have Tyrese drive where he excels because you need him to shoot threes. Well, now you have guys that can shoot threes steadily, right? So that's what's great about this. That's what's great about this. And again, don't discount the methodology and the teachings of Nick Nurse. Don't discount that, because we watched it in Toronto where he took that young team to a title, and he was able to take the mental aspect of it. When you have guys like a Kawhi and you have a young guy like Siakam, and to bring that all together, right? So this is what he does. This is what he does. And like I said, he knew he needed guys to shoot the three. He went to Daryl Morey. They talked about it. And that's what Daryl Morey went out and did. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be a little disappointed with the buyout market, and everybody's talking about, Kyle Lowry. Listen, Kyle Lowry, okay, when he gets here, because he will be here, okay, let's face it. But you're not getting Kyle Lowry to play like 10 minutes a game. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong, man? Are you kidding me? No, what you want, okay, again, what an educated basketball fan wants in the playoffs is a very educated veteran that knows how to draw a foul, that knows how to get to the hole, that knows how to assist the ball, and knows how to drop a shot for 2 to 5 minutes a game. And guess what? That's what they got. That's what they got. And you're right, Joe. Lowry would take over the dirty work since Bev is gone. And I like Lowry over Beverly. I'm going to say it. I like Lowry over Beverly. I do. I think Lowry brings more. See, here's what I'll say about Bev. And again, I like Pat Beverly. But just remember something. Number one, he has no legs left. Okay? And neither does Lowry. But Lowry's not going to be shooting threes. Okay? He's not going to be shooting threes. I like Lowry's education of the game, but I like his delivery. You know what's wrong with Pat Beverly? Is his delivery. Here's what I'll say this, and I'm not going to talk all night, okay? I just want to get on here because I'm really pumped up for these young Sixers. I'm really pumped up for Ricky Council. Okay, like you guys got to understand when you cover a team and you do work for a team and you're watching, it's almost like you're one of their biggest fans, and when you see them come up, it's so exciting because you know what you saw, the vision coming through, which is great. But I'm very quirky when I watch different things throughout the game, and there was one thing here and one thing in Milwaukee that I saw with Pat Beverly. Now, a lot of people are talking about Pat Beverly's leadership. Okay. Listen, I make no mistake about it. I think Pat Beverly has leadership qualities, but I also think his delivery from his leadership might not be taken very well. I watched the situation before he was traded when everybody was kind of like, hyping him up because out of a timeout or before a timeout, he was trying to show Paul Reed how to defend or something like that. I was watching it. Paul Reed was like, kind of like, dude, get out of here, man. Like, now, again, some people may take that as, oh, look, Paul Reed doesn't want to learn. No, you know what I took that as? I took that as his delivery. I took that as, listen, Paul Reed wouldn't be where he's at if he didn't listen. Okay. What I'm saying is sometimes you can be a great educator, but you might not be a great teacher. Right? There's a reason why there's players that are not good coaches, even though they're very educated baseball players. Right? We talk about it all the time. Sometimes a utility guy is the best head coach. The superstar is a bad coach because he doesn't know how to relate. His delivery may not be very good. And I think that could have happened to Pat Beverly because I watched him in Milwaukee the other night and he was trying to talk and players were kind of blowing him off there too. Because I think people look at him and they say, bro, you were a character a couple years ago, and now all of a sudden you want to be an educator. Like, I'm not there on the bench. I don't know. That's what I look at, but I never see that from Kyle Lowry. Bring Kyle Lowry home. My man Andre checking in. What's up, Dre? He says the same thing. Who wouldn't take Lowry over Pat Bev? I know my man Andre. I know he wasn't saying that the season's over because we traded Pat Beverly. There's an educated basketball guy right there. There's an educated basketball guy. He knew what we needed. He knew Kyle can manipulate defenses, a proven leader. Absolutely. And a champion. Come on, man. And he knows this city. Nova's finest, man. Come on. Why do you not take Kyle Lowry? And again, I go back to the uneducated sports fan, man. And that's the problem. Everybody wants to jump on a take or jump on a reaction, and nobody really knows what they're talking about sometimes. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but I'm saying is get yourself an education. And again, before everybody starts chopping in my DM saying I'm calling people stupid, I'm not saying that. I said basketball education, man. I'm talking about basketball education. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you have no education. I'm talking about basketball education. Get yourself a basketball education. That's all I'm saying. Watch some game film. Watch a game. Try to dissect it. Read some articles and then start popping off, man. Then start popping off. Understand what the hell you're talking about. My man David checking in. Yo, Dave, what's up, buddy? He's like, yo, listen, man. Knicks are doing that thing. You're right. Listen, the Knicks had a very, very good trade deadline. And Knicks and the Sixers, man, the Sixers got the best player available. They got the best player available in Buddy Hield, bar none. He was the best player available. They got him. The Knicks, I think, made the best trade available with getting Burks and Bojan. Okay? Bogdanovich is a tremendous player. Okay? Tremendous player, tremendous shooter. But again, he was playing on the Pistons, so let's get not crazy about how many points he was scoring. But with that team, in Jalen we trust, right? In Jalen we trust. I've said this before. I've said it again. I was looking at a couple people were saying, I forget the two players over, but they were saying, look, Jalen is that guy. Somehow he just gets it done. Talking about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is driven. He's driven. And that's the thing. He is driven, okay? He's driven, and he doesn't quit. And that's why people like him. And that's why, listen, when you have a star on your team that is driven, that has an infectious energy, that has a game that players want to emulate, the entire team, it's no secret, man, just plays better. It makes people elevate their game. When people get held accountable and they're watching this guy out there, it makes them elevate their game. Wants them to do more. Wants them to make them do more, right? And that's what Jalen Brunson's doing out there in the Knicks. Dre says a vet in the backcourt with Maxey would be a problem for most teams. Exactly. And everybody's like, well, yeah, Bev's a vet. I understand that. But listen, man, you have to understand Bev was shooting up threes, okay, that he couldn't make anymore because they really didn't have anybody else. Kyle can come here and just be Kyle and doesn't have to shoot up threes and doesn't have to play max minutes because you made other trades to get guys like Campaign and Buddy Hield. Campaign now is a backup point guard, okay? A true backup point guard that can knock down a shot. And listen, we're talking about Kyle Lowry. He might not even play in the playoffs. He's probably not going to be in a rotation unless somebody gets hurt. So why are we even worrying about it? So David says Kyle Lowry should go on to listen. If it's between, and that's the thing. The only thing that the Knicks have is they have the Villanova ties with Jalen Brunson, right? So, I mean, not to say he played with them, but still, I mean, they have those ties to where they can say, oh, they got the Nova background. But listen, Kyle want to come home, man. It's no secret. Kyle wants to come home. Kyle wants to come home. And I'll tell you this. I'm going to make a bold statement, man. You know how I do these things. I think it's an extremely high possibility that we get Kyle Lowry, okay? And Kyle Lowry actually plays for one more year on the minimum for the Sixers. One more year. And somehow, some way, Jimmy Butler is in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform next year. And because there's a lot of whispers about Jimmy Butler right now. They actually made him available for a little bit of the trade deadline. Just throwing it out there. Okay. You know these GMs talk. You know these people talk. There's a lot of credence to things like that. Listen, there's a reason why Daryl Morey has the cat room that he has and the assets that he has. Okay. It's not to not use them. He's not tanking. No, people. He's not. He's gearing up. He sees. So can you imagine? Next year? You re-sign Buddy Hield. You signed Paul George. You got Kyle Lowry on the bench. You got Jimmy Butler. You got Joel Embiid. You got Tyrese Maxey. Are you kidding me? Like, people, I'm just going to tell you, you're on the verge of some excitement here in Philadelphia. You are. Tell me right now, you are. Got some young boys, some young dogs, man. Dre says, you recall, we talked about getting Buddy 2 years ago. Me, him, and Al on HRS, right? Half court heat when we did it on Sunday nights. I mean, he was the greatest almost Sixer, right? Like my man Sean Bernard said. Another dude does amazing work. Sean, I think at Sean_Bernard1. Again, it's an exciting time, man. The people that don't say it's exciting, they don't know basketball. Dre says, my guy in Miami said Jimmy was upset at the organization for trying to shop him around. He showed up late 3 days in a row for games and practices. See? It's happening, Dre. It's happening. I'm telling you. This is a different front office. There was no Daryl Morey. Just remember that. I'm just saying, no more Brett Brown, Jimmy Butler. You know, if he wants to go all in and they want to try to win a ring next year, man, look, here you go. Breaking news, right? My man Javon, breaking news. See, that's what I love. Let's throw the breaking news right here on the HRS postgame rage. We got Lowry reportedly signing with the Sixers for $2.8 million for the rest of the season. There you go. And let me ask you this, too. This is what we haven't even talked about. And Javon, let me know what you think about this. Dre, let me know what you think, because you're both highly respected basketball guys in my mind, okay? You know, how about we just got done talking about the young guys, Ricky Council, Terkavion Smith. What better guy? Who would you rather them learn from? Kyle Lowry or Pat Beverly? Just throwing it out there. Because for my money, I want to learn from Kyle Lowry how to be a professional, how to own a locker room, how to be a leader on and off the court. Let me ask you something. How many press conferences Kyle Lowry get kicked out of talking, right? How much off the field drama Kyle Lowry have? Like, man, come on, people. You need to wake up. This is so much more important than you think. You're just looking at one small thing, man. You're looking at one small thing. This is why I love the Kyle Lowry signing. I love it. He's going to listen. It's the small things, right? It's the small things. Listen, Kyle Lowry, he understands. He's 38 years old. He's not signing here to play 25 minutes a game. He knows what his role is, right? He knows what his role is. And, you know, he's going to do the little things. Hey, Ricky, come here. Hey, Ricky, come here. Yo, this is how you man up somebody at the perimeter. Hey, Ricky, come here. This is how you beat a full court press. Hey, Ricky, come here. Hey, Turk, come here. This is how you get open on the screen. This is how you fight through without getting fouled. Right? Like, they're the kind of things that you want, man. Even a young kid like Campaign. You think he's not going to be excited to be able to learn from Kyle Lowry? Of course, Kyle Lowry wants to be reunited with Nick Nurse. Are you kidding me? Like, you people got to see this, man. Like, that's killing me. My man Drake confirmed, Sports Illustrated confirmed on their site, Kyle is signing, and shout out SI for all those poor people losing their jobs. Shout out to the people from SI, not SI for closing down. But yeah, for all the people, it just sucks, man. It just sucks. But my man David says 76ers to the NBA Finals this year. Listen, man, finals. I just want to get out of the second round, David. I just want to get out of the second round. But I will tell you this. It's wide open, man. It is wide open. Yup. Like Dre just said, I think Kyle's going to retire here in his home. I think he Dre, I think he plays one more year, man. I think his goal was let me sign on with the Sixers for the playoff run, and I'm going to play one more year because I know they're going to go all in next year. They're going to sign some cats. They're going to do a trade. They're going to do whatever they can, sign and trade, you name it. They're going to build this team to go for it next year because they see what's happening, right? You see listen, we all thought, I know I did, and I admit this, right? We all thought that Dame going to Milwaukee, that was it. On paper, they were the team. But what happened? Think about this, ready? What happened to that team? Number one, Giannis was his own worst enemy, right? His head got super big, started to piss some people off. Not to mention, they get rid of Drew Holiday and they bring in Dame Lillard, who plays zero defense, and Drew Holiday, that's a dog, okay? And I mean like Pat McAfee style dog that could play some really good perimeter D. That's hurting them, man. That's hurting them big time. Big time. That's a good point by Dre. You see him on the coaching staff at Nova in the future. And that's why, Dre, and that's why me and you get along, man. Because you know, that is his forte, is teaching, man. You can pick those guys out. Like, you have a future coach. He's a player coach, man. That's who you got. Pat Bev ain't getting no coaching job. This is Kyle Lowry's going to be a player coach. That's why you get him. So for $2.8 million, he's not only going to be a player, but he's going to be a coach for you too. Like I said, and that's why I love it. Like, at this rate, Lowry might be the new head coach at Villanova in the future. Oh, you know what? You're right. You never know. You never know, right? You never know. That's the thing. And that's what's great about this, man. Everything comes full circle. That's what I love about it. Everything comes full circle. I mean, look, everybody's balling right now. There's a lot of good things. One thing we know before we close this out is the second half of this season is going to be exciting as hell, man. It's going to be exciting as hell. I really feel that way. I do. I don't care where we get in at. I don't care what seed we are. I really don't. I don't. I'm looking at a lot of different storylines going forward. For people too, let me also, here's what's funny too. I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to say it again. Like, I have to laugh sometimes, and I really wonder. I really do. And I'm not a guy who like dogs specific people, but I'll tell you, man, like, if you got a radio show in the city of Philadelphia and you don't understand, the game, in my opinion, why are you even on the air? Like, I don't get it. And I'm not going to say who it was, but, one of their hosts was talking about on WIP about, how Boston didn't do anything at the trade line to get stronger. I said, are you serious? Did they or did they not get Xavier Tillman? Do you watch basketball? Like, again, a down low presence that can do everything? Do you watch basketball? Absolutely not. See, that's my problem. That's my problem. And I can't help it. I try to be good, guys. I do. I try to be good. But it's really hard for me when I hear people talking and they have no clue what they're talking about. And I say to myself, what the hell am I listening to? Number one, I don't listen to a lot. Okay. But when things happen, I pop them on because I like to hear, like, if they have somebody call in, like an analyst, or maybe they go right to the press conference. But I'm like, how are you going to tell me Boston didn't do anything to get better? And it just showed me. Dude has no clue. But whatever, man. That's why I'm here and he's there, I guess. But that's okay. Because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to put my slippers on. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. And I'm going to watch some TV. I don't have to drive an hour home. Just saying. But you know what? That's okay. At the end of the day, man, this Sixers team is going to be extremely, extremely exciting. And that's the biggest deal. But listen, man, I'm going to get out of here. I went 46 minutes, man. Like, I wasn't even expecting to go. I had to go live. I had the passion, man. I had the passion. I was all jacked up over this game. I thought it was exciting. Again, make sure you give us a follow at Heat Ratio Sports HRS late nights every night. Well, mostly every night, depending on if I have another commitment, but for the most part, 11 p.m. Weeknights. Make sure you're following us for that. Fourth and Go Radio, my man Mark and Dave. Again, always hitting hard on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, depending on where they are. We got the Final Judgment. Right, I do the Final Judgment where I break down specific things here or there. A lot of wrestling talk. We got WrestleMania season, which is amazing. I'm a big wrestling guy. And big announcement, man. In 2 weeks, I'll be back on Sirius every Sunday night hosting from 7 to 9, taking you all the way up to football season, man. So I can't wait for that, man. Like, just so everybody knows, by choice, I say this honestly, by choice, I kind of step back on the serious thing during football because, us at Win Daily, what we do for the Win Daily show is we drop down from 2 shows to 1, and the 1 show is Saturday nights from 5 to 7. And even though it's prime time, I don't like to give up my Saturday. So I decline and I fill in if needed. Like tonight, I filled in because my man Jason is in the Super Bowl Radio Row right now in Vegas. So filled in, had a great show. But starting the weekend of the 23rd, which is February 25th, make sure if you have a Sirius subscription, you're popping in Sunday nights, 7 to 9, talking all things MLB, NBA. Going to have some great guests, some frequent guests, bringing Philly onto the national spotlight where it belongs. As always, man, everybody have a fantastic night. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I still can't believe it's Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. But make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're hitting that Blue Coats beat as well. Can't wait. I think we have a couple coaches on next week, which should be really good. And go back and listen to that interview with Sharif Abdur-Rahim and Sonny Hill. They were fantastic interviews, man. I think you guys will really enjoy them. Me, myself, all the HRS guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and do me a favor. One thing, just do one positive thing for somebody tomorrow. And if we all do that, like I keep saying, make this world a better place. Everybody, have a good night.